Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be watching in the world today. We welcome you to the Let's Talk Fabulous show with Tamara. My name is Tamara L. Hunter, and I am your host. This is a show where we explore our fabulous lives. Today, we are joined by many of my friends who are subject matter experts on the issue or the focus. We're going to focus today on frequency. We're going to look at it through music, sound, and light. So, without further ado, it's time and let's talk. We have some of our guests here today, some of our panelists, and some are still going to be arriving here shortly because many of you know this is sometimes that revolving door open house situation where we want people to come in and talk, share about the subject. I actually have one of my digital co-hosts that is going to actually introduce this subject a little bit more, and then we're going to get to know our panelists.
Hello, everyone. My name is Renee Reich. I'm the founder of Finding Your Voice Network and the Finding Your Voice Network publisher of the magazine. I am so thrilled to be welcoming you to today's fabulous show. It's all about frequency. Frequency isn't just about how often we do things. It's the frequency at which we do them. Today, we'll be hearing from some expert panelists as the word frequency relates to sound, music, and light, and how that frequency, that vibration, can help heal the multitude of ailments that people have out in the world. So sit back, relax, enjoy, get your notebooks out. Tamara, it's all yours. Have a great show.
Thank you, Renee Reich. We plan to. So I am joined today by some subject matter experts from all over the United States. I want to say all over the world, and you know, they have traveled the world, trust me. However, from the United States, and we're going to go around the room and I'm going to ask them to say who they are, where they are, and then a little bit about what it is that they specialize in a couple of sentences, because we're going to dive deeper and you guys are going to feel like you know them extremely well by the time we're done with this show. We're going to start with actually the co-host of the Tour of Love and our dear friend that comes to the show often, Skip Thomas. Why don't we start with you?
Hello, everybody. Good to see you all here. I'm Skip Thomas, as you just heard. I'm in Arkansas, in the holler, in the hills, the Ozark Mountains, not a couple hours away from Missouri borderline, maybe an hour away south of Missouri. And I'm a filmmaker and excited to be here. This is a great subject. And like she said earlier, it's so needed.
And you got your Tour of Love show shirt on. I've got my mug. I've got the little sign in the back. We're getting ready for some good stuff coming. All right, we're going to go next to Jaime. Jaime.
Hi, I'm Jaime Gehly. I'm a professional musician, and I'm located in Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm currently working on a documentary called Thoughts, which is about the power of our minds and how it can affect the physical world around us. And along with that, there's a lot of information about frequencies and sound vibrations.
Awesome. Andrea.
My name is Andrea Banfield, and I am coming to you today just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, about a half an hour outside of the town. And I am a holistic life coach. I help people clear out the clutter of their mind and their thoughts to uncover their true, authentic voice, their true, authentic self, and make room for who they are in their world.
Love it, love it. And we have the new kid on the block, one that's been referred to us from one of our favorites of the show. Derick, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Derick Thomas, and I am in a suburb right outside of Cincinnati, about about 20 minutes, something like that. Westchester, Ohio is where I reside. And I am a practicing healer using music, tones, frequencies designed to help people in the emotional, in the physical, and spiritual state of their bodies.
I love it. I love it. And we want to welcome all of you that are joining the show live or in replay. We are all over the place. And did you guys know that there's a website also, E360TV.com. You can always find any of the on-demand shows there, E360TV.com. Check it out sometime. Watch some of our old shows. Or not old shows, some of our amazing, fabulous shows. And we want you to also, if you are one of the live studio audience joining us from social media, either Facebook or YouTube, you can comment and we'll see it live time. Yay. So we would love to hear from you. We also have one of our regulars. She's actually the ambassador of this show, welcoming everyone. We want to thank you for your service, Helene Wilson, and all that you do. Plus, we have our show coordinator. Let's get to it. All right. So we're going to start off with a video. Guys, we're going to be diving deep. This is sound, music, and light. All right. We're going to start with a video, and then we're going to talk.
So the singing moves the energy. It clears it, it makes it move. Ooh. And for me and myself, through my wholeness, through my connection to everything, through my consciousness, my singing is bringing that flow to everything that is in the room and everything that I am bringing that to. If I was to describe wholeness, I would say it's incorporating all of oneself, which goes beyond what our mind actually comprehends as ourself. A lot of us think our body is ourself, our life experiences are ourself, the things that we think are ourself. But once we can get past the mind and start moving into the body and start spending time in meditation, we start to experience stuff that's outside of those boundaries of self. Still experiencing it within ourselves, but it's no longer under that framework of what we are usually thinking myself is.
All right, this is a start. And first of all, beautiful voice, right, guys? I mean, isn't that amazing? I actually met Andrea, and I'm going to bring you into call it the mush pot. I get to be in the mush pot right now. And I met Andrea because of the Next Impactor. She went in, and I immediately fell in love with this woman because she really, the very first video I saw, I'll never forget, she's sitting in front of her house on some steps, and she's singing, and she's sharing how the music makes a difference in our lives. And that moment in time, I just like, okay, I need to know this woman. I need to know her and keep her in my life for the rest of my life. And that's exactly what has happened. She's been involved in making a difference for many, many, many others. And I want to thank you for that. Now, as we're talking about this, when did you realize that singing and the frequency of the singing had healing properties? Tell us about that.
Well, I've always known that for myself personally. That was my medicine growing up, was to sing. I would find myself singing with my guitar in the middle of the night, just soothing myself. But it wasn't until even in my journey after Next Impactor that all the pieces started coming together. and realizing that even when babies coo, right, that is healing medicine for the baby, because our own voice is medicine to our own body. It matches our self. Like, we're each unique individuals here to share our unique self, and our voice is such a big part of that.
I love it. I love it. And you know, we have someone in the holler, and sometimes he might be in and out because of frequency. You know, I love it. You know, it's kind of the evidence of it. And does anybody have anything they'd like to add to that? Because we're going to keep going. All right, I am going to keep going because we are going to now go on to another video that is going to be, we're going to be tying this all together, guys. All right, Jaime, you mentioned that you have a documentary you've been working on. Before we go into that, I want people, you skimmed over it. Now let's be real. You are a professional musician. Yes, you are a professional rocker that also is humanitarian, and you have worked with some of the top rockers and musicians in the world. Big names because of the humanitarian work that you did with a dear friend of ours in regards to Rock Against Trafficking. And we've highlighted you, and we've honored both of you for the work that you were doing with that. And in doing that, that's when I realized, oh my goodness, you are also, you know, have hobbies and such things that are into all of the sound, and you've been on the Service Hero show, and you've shared that, and it's now been taken to the level where you are doing the documentary. I'm going to share just a little clip, and then we're going to dive into that. So how did you get involved? You know, let's kind of bring people through. When did you know that you were attracted to music and sound and became a rocker?
Well, for many years, I was a professional drummer, and one of the things I learned early on in my drumming career was the importance of frequency and synchronization. When people hear a song, they tend to tap their foot to the beat or walk to the rhythm, and that helps synchronize you with the music. And part of being healthy and whole as a person is our bodies have to be in sync and have these rhythms that correlate with each other. And so there's this phenomenon called entrainment, which is something you could see for yourself if you take like those pendulum metronomes, get a handful of those, put them on like a board, and put that board on a couple of rollers, and just put them at the same tempo, but start them all out of sync. With in a really short amount of time, they will all begin to synchronize together. And this is just a natural phenomenon called entrainment, where rhythms tend to synchronize in that sense. So once I understood this, it became kind of apparent, like if we were playing in front of a large crowd of people, if like, let's say, and this is relative to like somebody's understanding of a song. So if they know this song already and you want to get that crowd excited a bit, you can speed up the tempo just slightly, and it gives kind of an urgency, and you can affect all these people just by changing the rhythm just a little bit. And you can slow it down, and it can have a calming effect, or depending on what they're expecting for the music, it could also have kind of like an irritating effect. So it's all, you know, relative to the situation, but you know, it's a very powerful thing. And so like people that are trying to heal through music and things like that will listen to like binaural beats and certain frequencies, because they will help get our body in synchronization with itself, and that just promotes wellness and health.
I love it. I love it. And that takes us straight in. But before we do that, I want to ask if anybody has something that they'd like to add to this. We're going to go into a video, click, wink, wink, that is going to dive a little bit deeper into the subject. So, maybe what we'll do is I'm going to make an executive decision here. I am the host. Wink, wink. Let's just join. And then we're going to dive deep into this because this is the crux of what it is that we're doing. Yet, the idea here is that frequency has the sound pieces of it, right? And what you were just talking about, Jaime, in the rock and roll kind of thing, and I love it because you gave such a great visualization in our brain about how it works. Speed it up, slow it down, such things like that. Now, what does the music frequency and light actually sound like? I want you guys to play with us right now. I'm going to start a video that was created by Derick. Derick Thomas works, we're going to find out more about him, that he works with this right now. He is healing people right now through music and sound and all of those modalities to help with different areas. He understands it very well. He sent me over something that I thought, wow, this is beautiful. Now, I had to clip it down because of time. However, this is what frequency can sound like. Now, I'm going to have you close your eyes right now, and then you're going to open your eyes after you start listening to it, and I want you to look at the image, and that's going to give us what we're going to really dive deeper into. So let's do that right now, and then we're going to have some fun. Wow, right?
Wow. Very wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's stuck. Okay, so did everybody, I have to ask because we've been having some technical issues. Did everybody see the full video? I need to know that. You guys saw it. Okay. Caroline is telling me right now that we might have had issues that, okay, you heard it. Okay. Oh, I see. All right. She's thinking it's stuck. No, it was meant to be like that. If anybody is thinking that it's stuck at what the 40 hertz, it wasn't a moving light. It was the image. So explain that, Derick.
All we did was just use an image for the video instead of a moving video. But what you were hearing was a lower tone. You may have heard it, you may not have heard it, but it was there because as you probably already know, when you're dealing with frequency and healing through sound, you don't have to necessarily hear it as much as your body will feel it.
Okay. All right. So thank you. And Renee is here, and she said, I closed my eyes and heard the beautiful sound. Okay. Now let's go deeper and let me know what the 40 hertz. What is 40 hertz? You were explaining that to me on the phone.
Yeah, 40 hertz has been used in many therapeutic tests, we'll call it, or studies for Alzheimer's as well as dementia, where it is used to stimulate and increased neural response. Jaime mentioned something called entrainment. And so what entrainment does in his definition is exactly what's happening with 40 hertz. They discovered that Alzheimer's patients, dementia patients, people with fibromyalgia are missing the 40 hertz operating in their brain. And so using the 40 hertz, you could hear it as a low tone and just go about your day for maybe 22 minutes doing it that way, 20 minutes. But it's not enjoyable. It's a very sub frequency. And so what I've done is just kind of put some other music around it, tuning my instrument so that it works with 40 hertz. Because as you probably know, the 440 tuning doesn't work with the tunings that we're talking about and the frequencies and the healing that we're talking about. And so it's a combination of things so that we can make it an enjoyable plate.
I love it. And you know, total disclosure, I actually said it. I had to laugh when he mentioned it because I said, Derick, you know what? I know it's good for you, but sometimes I just can't sit there and listen to that frequency,
Oh, yeah, sure.
you know, and I like try to put my seatbelt on, but it's like, okay, what are you trying to make me heal through something I just like? So, you know, thank you for explaining that, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that at least I hope I'm not the only one that's
Look, I used to have a juice bar, and I would help people, you know, with their diet. And so with juicing, you know, one of the things you ask for them to drink is spinach juice or green bean juice. They are not enjoyable whatsoever. It's like, you know, you need it, but you're not going to like it. But you'll live longer.
I like spinach.
If you drink it.
I'm teasing with you, but I really do. Okay, so Renee asked a great question, and this kind of goes into what we're going to dive deep down. We're going to have some fun, and then we're going to do some more video. However, okay, how do you know which frequency is best to heal ourselves? I'm going to actually call upon Skip. He hasn't talked yet. Skip knows a lot about this because he actually, I'll let you kind of go into it. In Sedona, you actually had a shop where you did frequency healing, correct? And let's dive a little bit into how do you figure that out? How do you know? And you know, share your wisdom with us.
Well, I'll share what stuck along my journey. I don't know if it's wisdom or not, but yeah, I was in Sedona for 12 years, and we had a healing center. I write and produce music as well, and of course do video and film. But one of the things you'll learn, I mean, from everyone, that's kind of the new biology of everything is vibration and frequency, and be it light or sound, and even, you know, the objects around us, light. I mean, the film, you know, work is, and so we had a center there that, you know, we had, you know, Rife machines and Tesla, far infrared, multi-wave generators, photon systems, all kinds of, you know, crystal bowls and so forth. And we had a lot of therapists in Sedona, as you can imagine. And then we weekly did people would come in and do lectures just like these wonderful people here. And what we learned was, you know, is that, you know, and the term I use is what resonates. And what you would find with what everybody's talking about is we resonate with that sound. Our organs, even with Rife, deciding that, this was out of frequency, if your liver's at a certain frequency, and how do you bring it back up? And oftentimes what we do in music or in video and film or anything is we reach them where they are and try to raise them to that healing frequency. It's the same thing as we talk about the tour of love. Love is a frequency, and joy and gratitude. And right now there's a lot of pain, and so much is related to fear, which is a very low frequency. And so, be it the steampunk Poe version of me, which is a whole nother story we don't have time to go into, but my granddaughter gave me that name. So my creative avatar personality is Poe. But yes, it's, and then my guitar, everything's tuned to 432. I put on a lot of events, and I convert all the music from 440, as Derick was talking about, to 432. Renee was talking about how do we know which are the frequencies? And you get into 528 and that frequency of love, and there's a lot of, the 432 and the nature, the frequency of nature, we resonate. And then certain frequencies, like the 440, is created, and I'll just say it in some instances on purpose, to take us out of connection and out of resonance and even into a state of chaos. And what we've got to do is we don't think it, we feel it, what resonates in our heart and our soul. There's that chart. And as we move up that scale, but you can't get somebody in guilt or fear and just say, oh, click love. How do you migrate them toward that higher frequency? And one of the best ways is music, and a combination of film and music is what I love to do. So you got some wonderful people here, and I'd let them talk. I mean, I'm happy, and we're going to do a lot of that on the Tour of Love.
Yes. In fact, Tour of Love, for anybody that doesn't know, we are in the midst of pre-production. Here's a little glimpse into a little bit of what's coming to a TV and, wink, wink, a tour near you.
Coming this spring, by popular demand, the second season show on the Tour of Love.
And the E360 TV platform is saying we want the Tour of Love.
With winner of the first Global Impactor Award, Tamara Hunter, along with Emmy-winning co-host Skip Thomas.
We are going on tour, on the road. It's time. Love unites, and there is healing through connections. This is a worldwide movement, the Tour of Love.
Be watching for it soon. It says spring, and anything that's that big, you got some details to work on. So be watching for the announcements. They're going to be coming soon, everyone. And we're going to be diving into this subject right here, because what is our tag? It is raising the frequency through love. Frequency, wink, wink. That's not an accident word. And so we are going to be diving into this a lot, and you'll be seeing those that are here and many, 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 many more of our friends and family that have been a part of Tour of Love, Service Heroes, cb4l.org, all of the above. So with that said, I want to go into right now it's kind of like the second part of the video of Andrea, because she talks about a certain type of using her voice in a certain way, and that's going to help us to launch into the balance of our show.
So the intuitive singing, that is different than singing with words. So the intuitive singing without words, just sound, allows it to penetrate and to go places that words have a limit. For me, anytime that I just give a song and just open myself, it connects me to right where I need to be to move right into the next thing. So this is my gift, my talent, my journey of finding my gift and how it helps other people. And in my work, I help other people to find their gifts, their thing that helps them to be able to open up, to be able to fully express themselves. My vision is for everyone to find wholeness. I want everyone to know their infinite worth, to know how deeply and profoundly held they are, and to be able to be set free and to have enough people do that there's a community that supports everybody doing that, so that we as a whole world can appreciate the individual and create this beautiful tapestry of divine, radiant life.
I love this. Okay, we're going to open this up for all of us right now to talk about this. And I'm skimming through this, and I don't want to so fast. It's second season of Tour of Love. Yes. Watch out, guys. We're preparing for some really big stuff. It is going to be incredible. We're going to blow out streaming TV and what you guys think it's all about with what we're going to be doing. So be watching for that soon. And you mentioned intuitive singing. Now, I want to open this up to everybody because I really keyed into that because of what Derick was sharing, what Jaime was just sharing, and what Skip always shares with us in regards to at this very moment in time. There is stuff going on. There's whatever it is in our lives, right? And it could be good, it could be bad, it could be indifferent. But whatever that is, there's a frequency that's going on, correct? Okay, so then you should have an intuitive singer. You have a band that comes into town. You have, Derick, who is dedicated to help someone to heal through his talents. You have a Skip, a documentary filmmaker that can also create a song in like 2 seconds that, comes in to change what's happening. Let's talk. Intuitive, when you're feeling that, is it similar to what Jaime was just sharing? That you're feeling that moment? And Derick, open up, Skip. Because it's like, okay, I'm feeling the crowd is falling asleep. I'm feeling this person is stressed beyond belief. I am feeling this. And then as you, as the resident experts here, are feeling that, is that where the intuitive song comes from? Or what is it?
Well, as Skip was saying earlier, I mean, everything around us is all just frequencies. I mean, all the matter that we see, everything we touch, sense, smell, hear, it's all just different energies, different frequencies. And so it's all connected in this sense. And so the intuitive nature is probably a construct of this connectedness. Like even our thoughts operate at a certain frequency, and we may not detect them as we would, like, say, a butterfly or the grass in the ground, but there are things that do detect these frequencies. There's this thing called primary perception, which was discovered by a guy named Cleve Baxter back in the 1960s, and he was one of the leading polygraph machine operators for the CIA, which is like the lie detector test. And he got bored one day and he hooked this lie detector test up to a plant. And he noticed he was getting readings off of this plant, kind of like a human. And so he started doing a bunch of experiments on it. And he's like, all right, what can I do to get a reaction out of this plant? And so, like, he takes one of the leaves and tears it off the plant, and it gives a little spike of stress. And then, so he's like, all right, I'm going to try something else. And he crushes part of the plant, and he gets a reaction. He hits it with a fire extinguisher. He's like, what else can I do? And he's standing across the room from this plant, and he's like, I got it. I'm going to burn the plant. And as soon as he thought that, he started getting readings on the polygraph machine. And it was that the plant could detect that he was thinking about burning it, and so it started to freak out. And this seemed kind of crazy, so he did a whole bunch of experiments on it, and he kept getting the same results. And actually, Mythbusters tried to bust this one, and they did an episode on it, and they got the same results as well. So it shows that these frequencies that we think are out there in the open, and so we can affect each other in a very profound way just by our thoughts alone. So something to keep in mind.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more when you're in that zone, when you're doing intuitive singing. Tell us about that.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, what you just said, Jamie, is so spot on. And the power of our thoughts. When you were saying that, it made me also think about the frequency of love and how important it is for us to be sending that out to every ounce of creation. All like spend time every hour just to consciously bring yourself back to that, because it truly does affect change in the world. Thank you for sharing that. That was fantastic.
I went on and grabbed a couple of your images because I do know that this is such a big part. And that's why I'm so thrilled that you have always been with us in regards to serving the community and being a part of Tour of Love and everything that we do. And I love this image that you have there. I think it just really waves, it brings it in a visual for me. I'm very visual because I'm seeing, if you will, I'm spinning off on the light. I'm, the movement. I'm thinking sound and music, and I'm thinking the love and how we as a global family need to unite around, together around our earth globally. And, am I reading this right with this picture?
I believe so. And it's like we get so caught up in the stuff that we're being shown in media, and it weighs us down. There's so many stuff that we've even gone through in our own personal experiences with all the change in our economy and everything that's happened. But we have to remember that that's one small little possibility out of everything that is available to us in the frequency realm. Like, we can't let those things become the focus of our mind. We have to remember to step back from it. And you asked about the intuitive singing, and that's like, it's like I sing in a way that I am letting go of my thoughts of what I am thinking is needed, and more moving into the feeling space of what do I feel. But then I go even beyond that to just opening up to the guidance of flow, to the universal flow for whatever is required for whatever it is that I'm singing to or for. And I in myself am just this expansive space of love. And to me, that love is, it's beyond emotion. It is this space that is, it's just forever expanding. It doesn't turn. It has no shadow of turning or rejection. It just is this blast of space and consciousness that is so much higher than anything that we get caught in down below, that it almost picks it up, swoops it up, transmutes it, unfolds it, and then allows that flow to enter into those places that the sound is going to.
I love it. We're going to share. Okay, go ahead, Derick.
The beauty of that is when you talk about love, because I think that's like the highest order is for love. The beauty, though, of what you're talking about when you're singing intuitively is that you're talking about flow in the sense of it has to remain a flow, and which is what I heard you say in certain ways, because if it takes shape, then it loses the flow and it loses the ability at certain levels, if it continues to remain in a shape, to be what it's supposed to be for all of the individual listeners, which a lot of people don't understand, which I'm glad to hear you say that, because then it touches areas that you're not trying to touch, but it touches it nevertheless. It's like being in water. The water touches every area when it's flowing, but when it's ice, it only touches, one area.
And I want to clarify this because I know that, like, many of you guys that have been around our community and such understand the upside down triangle is what I call it. Skip has more of a term that is correct, and we are educated on it a lot. And I know that love is at a certain frequency, and there's others that are above it. However, Derick, you're coming from a place that your day job, if you will, wink, wink, is that you actually do music as a living, and many people would would think of it as worship music or praise and worship type music. And you have been nominated on multiple Grammys because you write music. They come to your big, opportunity to come and visit with the community, and then they hear these songs, and then you have people that want to sing them and such. So love is the greatest 4-letter word in those meetings, right?
Oh, for sure. I think love is the greatest word just in our world, and that's what we try the most to raise the level of. And that word is the emotion, bigger than emotion, of course, that is squashed the most, I think. And we end up, there's so much that's been said today. It's like I want to comment on all of it because it's just so good.
we'll get together again that's why I wanted to let everybody to know. You're getting a little taste today. You're going to want more, and Tour of Love is coming. Plus, we may even have this group come back on another panel show. I want to share a video right now because it ties into the whole idea of love and such. You guys can watch this somewhere else, but I want you to see where we're coming from because there's science behind all of this. And one of our panelists, one of our movie makers has one that is a favorite of many, Sacred Journey of the Heart, and talks about how important love is, how important our hearts are in all of this, and where it ties in. You're going to recognize, look closely. If you guys have seen this clip before, I want you to look a little closer. Who are these people in there? And then go look them up. You're going to be absolutely impressed. Absolutely impressed. Here you go.
The new frontier of human evolution is one that connects us in a deep and meaningful way.
What were our ancestors trying to tell us? What did they know that we've forgotten?
The children on the planet are asking us to wake up.
What is the greatest expression of myself that I can be today?
Your heart stopped for a second.
Journey much deeper into my heart than I ever wanted to go.
Growing up, I was like every child, but my path took me in a little bit different direction.
You can't heal what you don't feel.
To lift the spirit above the present, to melt the ice in the heart.
You have to get to people's fears. Why is the heart closed?
That's created the greatest gift of all, this balance between giving and receiving love.
The heart has access to a field of information that is not bound by time and space.
No other organ has the power to communicate with the essence of the stuff that holds this universe together.
This is where conventional forgiveness does not go, and the mind can't handle it.
I learned to love my past, and in doing that, create a new present.
I see a new day. I see a land without illusions.
So the spiritual traditions then tell us how to apply what the science is confirming.
We are deeply and profoundly interconnected with the earth, from life to death.
We really do know each other's hearts. There's no limit to who we are and what we can do.
You feel, acknowledge what you feel, and you bring it back to the heart to gain the wisdom from that. We're on this planet at this time to make a difference, and we've said yes.
The bottom line is the heart's where the action is.
We've only begun. Today is the beginning of forever.
Today is the beginning of forever. I always love that line. I absolutely do. And where I want to go with the last of what we've got right here is I want to go back to Derick right now, because Derick, okay, so praise and worship, for those that may not understand that phrase, that has to do with being in what most people would think a church environment, a belief system for a higher purpose, a higher entity. Many believe in God, many throughout the world, because this is a worldwide show, believe in some type of a higher power. Let's tap into the love of that. That's where I want to go right now, because that's where all of us are. the heart of the matter. And when you're in there doing praise and worship, if you will, you're the whole idea of praise and worship. And I didn't know this because I came from some other traditional, if you will, religions in the past. And when I was first recognized that praise, I'm like, what does that have anything to do with the songs? Praise and worship. What does that have that's the songs, the hymns. I know that. I don't know this stuff. And you got rockers up on the stage. What is this about? But it's all about what? It's all about, tell us.
I think it's deeper than the average church singing a hymn or the average church singing a worship song, any of those things. Andrea alluded to it by saying there's singing intuitively. I think that is something that we're all saying that we do. We either singing intuitively, playing an instrument intuitively. We are doing it for the purpose of understanding something greater is involved. And so we believe that God is greater. We believe God is love, right? And so then the question becomes how to communicate that.
Okay, I think we've got a bit of a problem with freezing, and that's okay. Go ahead.
That's what we're talking about today, which is being able to communicate what is in heaven into the earth. I don't think it's any use to say there is a God in heaven if we can't sense him in the earth. And so then how do we communicate who he is through us to others? And that's what I'm using sound to do. I use my voice to do it. I'm sure I would be surprised if Andrea says she doesn't do this, but I've sung over people that are dealing with illness. Just get in their face and just begin to sing to them. You do it whether you're on a stage or you do it whether you're in their living room and you pick up a guitar and you just begin to sing over them. We realize how powerful music is, but we don't always use it in the most powerful ways. And so what I'm trying to do personally is take some of the, what I would call mysticism out of the way, some of the terminology that is used, even some of the pictures that are used that people just kind of shy away from because of a lack of understanding and or fear and other things, and say, you know what, if you would just give God a chance in this, the scriptures, if I could say one, scripture says that without love, you become a noise, you become a clanging cymbal, which is God saying you have to have love connected to the sound that you're making in order for it to be effective and for it to be received. And so I think that is the goal, to put love in there, and in the strongest of fashion. I have to be a person that is in love with the people that I am communicating to, or this isn't going to work.
I love it. Andrea, I'm going to let you answer, and then I want to do one more thing. And so have you done that?
Yes, I have done that. Yeah.
I figured I wanted to close that loop.
Yeah. And just one other little thing too. You said that love makes it so you're not the clanging cymbal. And you also said that God is love. It is the love, right? It's got it, like that is him in this world.
I love it. And I'm going to share one more because it's going to tie in and we're going to be able to button this up. It's one more video that was just created by our co-host of Tour of Love, and it explains a little bit this, and watch it and with your heart. Watch this, open up your heart as you're watching this.
Humanity is waking up. We've been on an amazing journey, a physical, mental, and spiritual journey. We've faced crossroads where we've had to choose between a path of fear or one of love. And now we stand at a precipice unlike ever in our recorded history. Changes to our world are unfolding before our eyes in every aspect of our lives. We face a choice, both individually and collectively as the human race. Are we going to face these times with fear, seen as a lack of money, concern for health, relationships, physical threats, perhaps even a fear to even make a choice? Or we can choose for ourselves and help others toward a path of love leading toward joy, bliss, gratitude, a path filled with remembering our original instructions given to us by this earth, by all life, shown to us through nature, leading us back to our own true nature. This is a time of remembering, being reminded, reconnecting to centuries-old wisdom carried forward by our ancestors. Our course toward our destiny will be determined by our connection to who we are. We must listen to our heart and our soul's wisdom, and seeking connection and knowing. We're being called into humble service to each other, to the earth, and to all life here and beyond. The call is real, and it's now. Are you ready?
I love that. Are you ready? Are you ready? And, you know, as we close this down, because we've got right about 5 minutes, we're going to push it left. Where I want to go is, Skip, you traveled all over the world. A lot of that footage that's all your footage. And you have filmed so many documentaries, and you've been invited into so many different communities, if you will. And yet the big thing and resounding thing that you come out of all of it now is the need for the planet right now to experience love, and that we can raise the frequency if we understand what we're doing, correct?
Correct. And so, you know, briefly, we are at a precipice, and we're not going back to the way things were. And actually, we can actually change the destiny rather than just go on the fate of what's planned for us. And by doing that, we each pick a lane. We each have gifts. I mean, I love music. Music's my favorite thing, but I wasn't like Derick where I could make a living doing it. So I do film and television, you know, movies, but I still play music, right? And hopefully I'll get a good professional to help produce it. But, you know, what we can do individually is pick a lane and be like that tapestry that Andrea showed. And when you go to like in the movie Sacred Journey of the Heart, which is on YouTube, you can watch it for free now. But Aramaic scholar said, he goes, you know, he said, church is not a building. Church is what people come together and do, you know, collectively, of two or more. And so that tapestry that she showed, if we all did that with a frequency and brought to the table the gifts and tools that will allow to flow through us, we don't get in the way and block it. That's where I screw things up. I get into the flow, and it happens. I don't know where it comes from. And it is intuitive. It is a God thing. But what we're finding is science is now proving that our spiritual traditions have been right on point, and now it's coming together, and it's time for us to take it to the world.
And I love that. I love that. And I want to recognize, and then I want to continue, is that Derick is doing exactly what you were kind of sharing, in that now he is doing the two or more kind of concept on what you're calling house church, correct, Derick?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you. And Jaime, I want to go to you real quickly because of the fact that you have worked with many, like I had said in the very beginning, many of the top rockers throughout the world. And when you and Gary Miller had started, and you joined Gary when you started out the Rockers Against Trafficking, and because of the need, we know that there's the need is now, and the need is real. There's the good and the bad, and let's just be real. We need to be going out there with the good, and we need to combat the bad. And you were able to, and Gary was able to, he used to talk about this, that there are so many out there that are in that frequency world that understand that they can do something for good, and you guys would call upon them to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people want to help. It's just a matter of knowing where to channel that energy. And so, it's just, if you can define a path that helps people do something good, they're pretty willing to do whatever they can, especially something as horrible as human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very important, I think, that people just take the step and just try to put that positive energy out there and make some good happen.
And that is sharing the love. And that's what I wanted to share right there, is that right now, the world is ready to share the love. And if we call upon those, it doesn't matter if they're big names or they are your next door neighbor and you're getting together as a house church. Everybody is feeling it throughout the world, and we can unite together through love. I want to give each one of you 30 seconds to say your closing remarks, and then we're going to say goodbye to everybody, but 30 seconds each. I'm going to start with you, Andrea.
Real quick, just my closing thoughts to see if I can get it in 30 seconds. But Skip had said, like, how do you get people to be able to move to that higher level? And just a real quick little thing is to help people to learn how to open up that space within themselves and to allow the love to come in there and the willingness to let go of the perspective that they've held for it to change.
I love it. I love it. Skip?
Well, in the film, Greg Braden said, the longest distance we'll ever travel is at 18 inches from our head to our heart. And we'll go to the ends of the earth. But that's where we find that frequency. That's where we find that spiritual connection, body, mind, spirit, and soul, and to nature, and to God, and to each other, and to make a difference. So pick a lane, and we collectively, we have a great opportunity. This is an amazing time to be alive.
Yeah. Derick?
I think understanding that everybody drinks water, we are 65% water, 55% water, male and female. Water holds memory. We are affected by the vibrations around us. Why not put good vibrations into us so that we can be whole and healthy?
I love it. I love it. And Jaime?
So, there's this thing called critical mass where you get enough people thinking the same things, and it just becomes kind of a universal knowledge. And so if you don't think you can make a difference, if you don't think you can change the vibration of the planet, that's not the case. Just if each one of us puts that thought in our mind, it'll become a whole thing that permeates throughout the world, and we can all make a difference.
I love it. I love it. With that, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, E360 TV. www.e360tv. Go there, watch on demand, and if you ever need to find us, e360tv.com, e360tv.com. With that, see you next Sunday. Bye, everyone.
Thank